నమస్కారం అండి. హలో.
One second, sir. One second, sir. We are going live. A minute. Kindly bear with me for a minute. Yes, sir. Welcome, Andi. Andarki namaskaram. It's nice that on my request, all my senior friends have joined to share their wonderful ideas in common interest, that is the student, the future of India, the youth, particularly focusing on the education. So may I request Sri Palakurti Ramurthy Garu to kindly take over and introduce our panelists. Before that, one more request is that other than the panelists, Ramurthy Garu and myself, let all other friends stop their videos because it consumes a lot of bandwidth and therefore there will be distortion in the relay. So it's only a request. You are welcome to switch on and see others, but I request that you may switch off your videos. Ramurthy Garu, Nenu, panelist Nalguram matram videos on lo untai. Kindly bear with us. Thank you very much. Ramurthy Garu, all yours to introduce.
Thank you very much, sir.
ఒక చిన్న మాట, ఈసారి మాత్రము ఇది ఇప్పటి వరకు ఇండివిజువల్ సోషల్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ అనే ఒక కాన్సెప్ట్ లో ఎడ్యుకేషన్ మీద పెద్ద పెద్ద వాళ్ళు మంచి అనుభవజ్ఞులతోటి మాట్లాడించుకునే ఈ కార్యక్రమంలోకి మీ అందరికీ ఒకసారి స్వాగతం. అయితే ఈసారి ఆల్ ఇండియా లెవెల్లో పార్టిసిపేషన్ ఉంది, ఆల్ ఇండియా లెవెల్లో దీన్ని చూస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి ఇవాల్టి సెషన్ మాత్రం మొత్తం ఇంగ్లీష్లోనే నడుస్తుంది. మిగిలిన సెషన్స్ వచ్చే వారం నుంచి మాత్రం యథావిధిగా తెలుగులోనే ఉంటుంది అని చెప్పి చెబుతున్నాను. రామ్మూర్తి గారు, కైండ్లీ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్.
Thank you very much once again. So on behalf of Bharata Bharati and individually Narmanchi Anantakrishna Garu and myself, Ramurthy, I welcome all the panelists, all the audience and moderator Narmanchi Anantakrishna Garu to this session. And as an individual responsibility and a collective responsibility, social responsibility, we are organizing this program and we are proud to be associated with Dr. Surendra Reddy Garu, Venkataya Garu, Narendra Reddy Garu, Prithvi Garu, and all the eminent scholars which are on public platform. I take this privilege to introduce Mr. Surendra Reddy Garu, Professor Surendra Reddy Garu ji. He is a corporate advisor to Butterfly Field and national convener 3I System, STEM Firm India, Hyderabad, ASIC trainer, TEQIP consultant, and former director and dean of SNIST. And another panelist, Dr. P. Venkataya Garu. You are most welcome, sir. Professor and former head Department of Business Management, Usmania University. And Colonel C. Narendra Reddy Garu. He did his PhD in education. And I welcome Narendra Reddy Garu. He is the former registrar, Vigyan University, former director, State Resource Center, consultant and controller of Telangana Social Welfare Education Society for Sainik schools and military colleges. And finally, Dr. Prithvi Garu K. is CEO and founder of Skill Eduversity, education reformist, consultant of process and performance, quality assurance, accreditations and rankings. And with this, I conclude my introduction and I hand over my mic to Narmanchi Anantakrishna Garu to modulate and organize the program. Thank you, sir. Anantakrishna Garu.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Ramurthy Garu, so nice of you. అందరినీ పెద్దవాళ్ళందరినీ చక్కగా ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేసినందుకు మీకు ఒకసారి కృతజ్ఞతలు చెప్తూ, ఇట్స్ ఎ వండర్ఫుల్ ఫీలింగ్ that we together are able to do something, put our thoughts together and see that India glows by making proper educational arrangements to all the needy. Now I request Prithvi Garu to make a double action, one as a panelist and also as one of my co-moderators, because I have wonderful faith in his wisdom, his planning, and his capacities. So you can lead from the front, and you know, I have a poking finger. I'll do it as and when I feel so. Please, all yours, Mr. Prithvi. Go ahead.
Namaskaram, sir. Namaskaram, everybody. And I'm very thankful to Professor Ramurthy garu for his kind words. I request Professor Venkataya garu to start with his talk on the topic. Sir, Professor Venkataya garu.
Okay, sir.
మీ కెమెరా కూడా ఆన్ చేయండి సార్.
Okay. Is it okay now?
Yeah, okay. I'll mute my side.
Okay.
I'll switch off my camera, sir, so that the bandwidth we can save.
రామూర్తి గారు ఉండొచ్చండి, ప్రాబ్లం లేదు. 5-6 వరకు 10 వరకు దిగులు లేదు కనుక ఎముగంటి వారు కూడా ఆన్ లో ఉన్నా నేనే వాడిని అడ్డు పెట్టలేదు, ఎందుకంటే ఒక 10 మంది వరకు దట్ వోంట్ అబ్స్ట్రక్ట్ అవర్ ఇష్యూ. నో ప్రాబ్లం, గో అహెడ్.
So good afternoon all panelists and then participants, and we are meeting virtually on the purpose of new National Education Policy 2020. The document of 60 pages I went through yesterday, and I have compiled I think little observations here. I may share my observations later on. I may be ready for participants' queries. This document, there are major shifts are in this document, and the prime idea is universal equitable access to higher quality education at all levels. This is what the makers of the policy are thinking, and that is the reason they have shifted from. There are so many shifts. I may first notice some shifts from where to where they are going. 10+2 system to 5+3+3+4 system, they are moving. In that, the 5 years they are calling foundational, and another 3 years primary, another 3 years middle, and then last 4 years is secondary. In foundational skills or foundational learning, they are identified the literacy, numeracy, and then little bit digitalism or little bit digital knowledge also they are trying to impart from 6th class onwards. This is what they are taking care of all these things. In this respect, what I observe to make a better learner, there is a saying, yogo gnanam tada sankhya vidya silpadi karmacha. So this gnanam, the knowledge, and then the sankhya, the numeracy, and the education. Vidya means education, karmacha means the practice. These are combined by, there is combining technology that is called digital platform or digital technology, through which we are meeting and discussing. That's why they introduce literacy, numeracy, and the digitalism also. So really is a very good development. And then they are moving from, previously there was no foundational course in government education. That is 4, 5, 6 years they are not included. Now they are included. These 3 years of education, totally 5 years they are calling foundation. This is what they are doing. So we are moving from non-foundational previously, now foundational skills are there. And then we are moving from rote learning to role playing or lifelong learning. So this is how can we make, previously we are more with summative assessment. Now the document is saying we may adapt formative assessment more and more. So that is one shift. The other shift is there from STEM. Previously in optionals, particularly 10+2 in intermediate education, 11th and 12th class, there are rigid optionals are there. Now they are liberalizing the optionals, and they are making not only STEM but also HOSTEM, that is humanities, arts, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And then they are making flexibility also. They are giving flexibility, like now they are introduced to 4 years degree, after 1 year diploma, after 2 year advanced diploma, after 3 years degree, after 4 years this is multidisciplinary degree or degree with research capabilities. This is what they are doing, very good flexibility. And one more flexibility what they are providing to the students is ABC. ABC means Academic Bank of Credits. Suppose a student can move from across India from wherever they want, because their bank of credits are maintained at the central level. That is one top shift. And then the education system now made from a move from fragmented system to integrated system. Previously, we have Veterinary Council, Pharmacy Council, UGC, and AICTE, and Medical Council. All these they are now making under one umbrella. They are integrated now, and they now previously learning. The education is teacher centric. They are making now the learner centric by making holistic, integrative, and then the engaging and enjoyable education. That is what their version. And one more important observation here, the document is saying that they have to nullify the coaching scenario and coaching perspective. Suppose after 10th class or after 12th class, now everybody is preparing for MSET or NEET or IIT or after degree CAT or civil services and so on and so forth. These are summative assessment. So they want to shift from summative assessment to the formative assessment or gradual assessment or evolutionary assessment. They want to make, we are moving from coaching to non-coaching. How can you make it? That is different issue we will discuss in the coming queries. And then one more important observation, right now we have currently affiliating universities, deemed to be universities, unitary universities, all these right of universities now they have made only just university, and within the university they have only 3 types of colleges, that is university constant colleges. In the 2 types of colleges, research intensive university and then teaching intensive university, and then academic degree granting colleges. And then one more 4th parameter is there, very important one, that is the multidisciplinary degrees, model multidisciplinary degree colleges. They are planning to start in every district of India. That is one thing, sir. And then GER, when you come to gross enrollment ratio, particularly in school education, college and university education, we have 90%, 56% and 26.3% in university. And in coming years, they would like to develop that into 50% GER thing. And then they would like to reduce the dropout also, because in the school, in the secondary school, when 90% are entered, only 56-60% are coming to the degree colleges. And then higher education, only 26% are coming. So how can we reduce dropout? Even though dropouts are there, how can you provide the adult education and then dropless education? Through previously we have open and distance learning that we are making now in the present scenario, open and then online and digital learning. Particularly we have Swayam is there, and then we have Diksha is there, and then we have so many other international like Coursera, edX, so on and so forth. Availabilities platforms are there. That is one thing. And one more wonderful issue, they are insisting that academia, industry and government togetherness, that is industry, institution, government triangulation. By that they may be able to provide some hands-on experience to the students. That is one important issue is observed in this document. Apart from this, in the lines of America, we have there, NRC is there, National Research Council. In the same way, our document new NEP 2020 created NRF, National Research for, I think Forum, I think National Research Foundation, sorry, NRF, National Research Foundation. Here, one more thing I want to tell you, after degree, there are another PG of 1 year, 2 year and 5 year. 3 types of PGs are there. For 4-year degree, 1 year PG. For 3-year degree, 2-year PG. And then integrated PG is there, 5-year PG after 10+2. And then NRF, that is National Research Foundation, is taking care of, centrally, uniformly, entire research process taking place in India. And so far in India on research, they are spending only 0.69% of Indian GDP. Now they would like to enhance investment, particularly on research and innovation, because research and innovation are going hand in hand. This is one observation from my side, particularly in this document. Another one, MERU is there, MERU, MERU. So what does it mean? MERU means multidisciplinary education, and research universities. This is what they would like to create. And in this, they are even restricting the strength of every university, because now all universities are just domain specific, not like affiliating. The maximum strength is only 3000. This they will be doing by 2040. And the affiliated colleges are ending by 2035. So this is what, the important things are there. One more things are particularly in +2 and then in degree colleges, they are created the project clubs, topic clubs and circles, like, mathematics circle, science circle, or music circle, or dance circle, like that they are created in order to increase, encouragement and motivation among the students. And previously, I was already discussing in our first session, the top world 100 universities are now facilitated to start their, centers in India. Similarly, our Indian top 10 universities are allowed to start their abroad centers in foreign countries. This is really very, very good development. And at the same time, like ABC for students, there is one national teachers portal will be created, NTP, National Teachers Portal. How do they do that? They have a PARAK program, PARAKH. PARAK means performance appraisal, review, analysis of knowledge delivery with respect to holistic development. That is PARAKH, PARAK. Through this, they may be classifying teachers are expert teacher, good teacher, average teacher, and poor teacher. This type of things may be maintained in National Teacher Portal. Not only that, for students' purpose, they are creating National Scholarship Portal also. And then one more advantage now, SEDG, they are calling now a new terminology, socially, economically disadvantaged groups. They created special economic zones, SEZ, special educational zones, sorry. Special economic zones, SEZs, are created for them. At the same time, for teacher, comprehensive development, subject development, comprehensive professional development of minimum 50 hours per year is arranged by online and offline classes. And then one more thing, particularly for universities, there is a machinery developed, National Mission for Mentoring. This is created by taking senior most teachers and retired teachers, and they will groom the upcoming younger faculty now. This is also very good development. Apart from this, we have, say, Indian Institute of Translation and Interpretation in terms of language propagation. And then just now I was telling literacy, numeracy, and digital literacy. For that, they are using Digital India campaign through NEET, NEAT, NEET. What is NEET? National Educational Alliance for Technology, NEAT. So through this, they are propagating digital platform. And one more very good, interesting point in this document is, previously, sometime several years ago, Central Advisory Board on Education, CABE, that is advised Indian Education Services. They mentioned, they did not give any action report on that. They mentioned these are the major observations in my perspective. At the same time, I would like to point out, I give you certain issues are there which are yet to be considered in this document. Those issues I may be telling you just within 1-2 minutes now, if you permit me. Krishnan Saab, just 1-2 minutes I may take. So for the points to be considered, 5 + 3 + 3 + 4, that is by end of that, the student is attaining age of 18. Previously, after 10 + 2, 17 years are there. Now it is taking 1 more year. If we spend 1 more year, we may create even not only gross enrollment ratio, but also gross employment ratio. How can you do that? When a child is attaining 18 years, we are calling him adult and we are conferring right to vote. At the same time, can we make them potential and then right to livelihood and right to note? How do we do that? By spending 1 more extra additional year they are spending in this 5 + 3 + 4. In that, in 4 years, if we take really interest and create certain facilities, like not only in the vocational sphere, vocational, technical, professional, performance arts, digital technology, medical technology, agricultural technology, like this. For example, I may point just within 1 minute, I may wind up. Please bear with me. So in 5 + 3 + 3 + 4, by 18 years, they not only get right to vote, but also we may get them right to note the earning capacity. So how can we do that? When we merge, suppose we have They did not mention three things in this document. One is Industrial Training Institute. Previously we have, that's ITI. The other one is just 2-3 years ago, Modi government was mentioning Institute of Eminence. That is missing in this document. And the other thing, the action report on Indian Education Service, that is also missing. But in the 4th year, that is 5+3+3+4, that is secondary school 4 years education. If we create vocational facilities, particularly something like, carpentering or, agriculture, particularly farming, pottery, like that, so many facilities are there. We may provide them in farming, particularly agriculture. India is agricultural country. Our backbone is agriculture, and we may make, people well versed in soil and then seed and climate, SSC. The soil specific knowledge, seed specific knowledge, and then climate or weather specific knowledge is very, very useful. Whoever is dropping out of this 5+3+3+4, they may start their livelihood. They may get some earning on that. In the same way, in technical, we need to provide them some mechanical facilities, like we need to train them, as an electrician, as an electronic, repair, and electronic toys making, like mechanic, bike mechanic, auto mechanic, car mechanic, like that we may do. Wonderful thing, in 1 year we create these facilities, vocational skills, and then technical skills, and then professional skills also. Suppose, CEC group is there, we may make them an accountant assistant, a tax assistant, a legal assistant, like that we may create them. In similarly, performance arts, we have music. They may become, after 18 years, they may become a music teacher, a dance teacher, or a painter, or architectural facilities, like that we may create. And then at the same time, we have certain facilities in medical technology, which is in high demand. And almost all, if you look all corporate hospitals, these 10+2 people are working largely now currently. And if we train last 1 year or 2 years, particularly in ANM, GNM, you are aware, nurses are in high demand. And we have MLT, we can make them like MLT, diagnostic facilities, optometrician. And then we can make operators like, ECG, X-ray, CT, MRI, PET scan, CyberKnife. And then we may make them, little knowledge with pharmacy running and the medical record keeping. So these are all there, which are doable, which are now to be considered in the document. If really we can provide in last 4 years, that is 15, 16, 17, 18, they are really formative years. They are moving from summative assessment to formative assessment. So child may be form very good skills. When they drop out of this education at the end of 18 years, they get so much facilities and job opportunities for them, because the employability is very, very important. Why they are dropping out? Because they don't get any employable facility. That's why they are dropping out. Just 1 second, sir. 1 second, I am winding up. Another one is there. That very recently, because we are meeting over virtual class now. So this is what digital or virtuality. We are moving from reality to virtuality or virtual reality. Now we are going through disruptive technology or immersive technology. That normally, this is also can be provided, that last 4 years of school education, that may be augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, that may be useful for various electronic issues. And then they may even useful for telemedicine, games creation, mobile repair, so on and so forth. So these are all available in just 5+3+3+4. When the child is, attaining 18 years of age, not only they are getting vote, but they are also able to get the note, the earning capacity. This is what my observation. Then just precisely, this is my observation. Any interpretation and clarifications are there, I am ready to give, sir.
Sir.
Thank you, Krishna, sir.
వెంకటయ్య గారు, చాలా అసలు చెప్తున్నా కదా, మీ ఫ్లోని మేము పట్టుకోవటం, ఇట్స్ వెరీ గ్రేట్ టు హ్యావ్ యూ ఆన్ ది ప్యానల్. నెంబర్ 1. నాకు ఒక చిన్న డౌట్ అండి. యూ సెడ్, అంటే నేను మధ్యలో తెలుగులో ఎందుకు మాట్లాడుతున్నా, కొంతమంది తెలుగులో అర్థమవుతుంది కాబట్టి మాట్లాడుతున్నాను. యూ సెడ్, you have gone through the entire document. I have only 2 questions.
Yes, exactly.
ఇది మీరు కొంచెం గుర్తులో పెట్టుకోండి సార్. ఏంటంటే, what is the monitoring system? Then what sort of review procedure is interpreted? And for failure of performance, what sort of action is contemplated in the document? Because when something is planned, the planning may be excellent, but unless there is a stick as well, apart from carrot,
Yes, yes.
The implementation is a bit difficult, taking
Yes.
into consideration the heterogeneous attitudes of the countrymen, the push and pull of politics, non-education, and then personal influences. So many things play here. Second thing, what about the heading persons of all the important institutions, like say university, boards, panels, whatever the things you have spoken now, how it should be headed? Is it a political appointment or is it a qualitative appointment based on their technical qualifications?
Yes, sir.
And
This is already
most importantly, I am very particular on knowing about the action for failure of implementation, the responsibility fixation. Let's any other panelist may answer, but this is my query in my mind. So
Can
nice
you
of you,
give
Venkataya garu. Let Prithvi consider the other panelists to go ahead with the document. Venkataya garu, chala baga chepparu sir. Thank you. So nice of you.
So I may answer your question later on. You give
A
me
little
time,
later,
1 minute, I may answer you.
Prithvi will take the time slot for the answer, sir.
At least
Yeah,
last 1 minute you give.
I
Sir, in
request
my view,
Professor Venkataya garu to answer this, sir.
Okay.
Okay, then,
sir, one second, sir. One second, sir.
Tell-
It is
tell me.
better to answer the questions at the end, sir, so that so we may have the full length program and then answers. Some panelists may answer these questions in his say, enlightenment.
Presentation also.
Oh, yes, sir. So
What
let
will-
us let us take all these questions at the end of the session,
Yes.
so that we can answer all the questions comprehensively. Even.
Yes.
Okay.
One more request, sir. All other persons who are watching, who are not panelists, they can shoot their queries in the chat box. I am collecting all the things. I'll rechange my name as moderator. You can kindly check for the moderator and shoot the queries over there. I'll put it to the panelists. Yes, sir. Proceed.
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. C. Narendra Reddy garu to talk on academic leadership, new age academic leadership. Sir, please.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir. It's nice seeing you again with all your experience is going to be shared once again. Thank you very much, Priya, on the panel.
Yeah. Thank you, Adanta Krishna garu. After a very nice discourse by Professor Venkataya, you have shot two or three questions. In fact, I think my small presentation will answer those questions.
So that's nice. So
Rightly-
Palakurti Ramurthy garu is right in his observation.
Yeah.
The subsequent panelists would answer them probably. Anyway, please proceed, sir.
Had you not asked this question,
Hmm.
somebody else would have asked. So
Correct.
I have in the last fortnight after we met last, I have interacted with former deans, former vice chancellors, very senior professors in the universities and all. I had only one pertinent question about the academic leadership at the university level. The present system of selection and how is it justified in terms of the need for quality education in the country. Then I have also studied the system of selection of vice chancellors in the US and the and UK. So I must bring out certain points. So as of now, selection of vice chancellors in Indian universities till I think about 5 years back was through a search committee with one UGC member, one member from the government, state government, and one university nominee. And they would do their own study and then recommend names to the government, and the government would send the names to the governor. And I think by and large, whichever name the government intends to be ticked, the governor would do that. So that is it. But the last time it happened in Telangana, now rather. It happened that people have been asked to submit applications. All those professors who have 10 years of standing as a professor can apply, and then there will be selection. Then it got into, I think, stalemated. It didn't happen. So when a vice chancellor is selected, my view, as I have studied about some of the American universities, many majorly, they have a procedure like this. The Board of Senate, they constitute a committee. The Board of Regents, they call it. So that Board of Regents constitutes a committee. And these committees then ask for applications. Then they are scrutinized. And there is a preliminary interview which is confidential. Preliminary interview of shortlisted candidates. When I broached this subject with one of the former vice chancellors here, he said, no, how can vice chancellors be called for interview? It's a big post. Yes, I said, yeah, it's a big post. That is why, just by seeing profiles, CVs, and some without any interaction, either with the search committee or with the appointing authority, nobody knows. He's submitted CV. Whom all you have asked? Somebody may say yes, good, or somebody bad. How will I know as a selector or a stakeholder that he is the right person? He was arguing with me, no such thing can happen. And I also said, every vice chancellor in the we have affiliating universities. So I said vice chancellor should visit, not inspect colleges. One odd college, some very well-established colleges, to pat them or to just no. How can vice chancellor visit? That is not his job. There is a committee to visit. Vice chancellor will not go out of his office. Vice chancellor will not do anything. Will not talk. Will not motivate. How can it be? Just doing all administrative paperwork. So I'll come back to the selection process. So once the preliminary interview is over, then they take 3 weeks time to shortlist final candidates, and it is made public. It is made public. After which, after 3 weeks of making it public, then the actual candidate is announced. So this is so very transparent, and it's a public, because vice chancellor is the head, he is the leader, he has to be that kind. And in Oxford University, they have put down the real criteria for what a vice chancellor should have. He should be an academic credibility, intellectual rigor. He should deep personal commitment to the power of education and research, exceptional leadership credentials evinced by successful careers at highest levels, previous experience, organization skill, then ability to build productive relationship with external parties. That is, how do you industry, then foreign universities tie up, then integrity, of course, and tolerance, and very, you should have most time for the students. For the students who are the actual stakeholders in the university system. So when I broach this subject with former vice chancellors and senior professors, they say what is happening now is not like this. They are they're trying to just look for class, caste, creed, and see that every segment of the population is pleased by appointing one from the community, that class, this class. Whereas it is not on merit basis. So when there is no merit basis, how can you, this is such a big and wonderful document what Venkataya Garu has just explained, how can you expect a non-visionary to lead a university towards excellence? And we all know that except IISc, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, none of the institutes in India, not even the IITs, I think, find a place in the first 200. So the selection of the vice chancellor has to be more this thing. At least the final three names which have been sent to the governor, they should be called before the governor, if not for an interview, for a cup of tea, so that the governor is convinced that what name has been suggested to me to be ultimately ticked really deserves whatever. At the present time, nobody, and I should be wrong if I say, I should be wrong, that there is so much of pyrovy that happens and all that. So VCs should be change managers, should be visionaries, no caste, no thing, and should always think of continuous learning by himself, and for the senior faculty and deans and students, demand should be priority for him, and skill development and new academic models, then tie up with foreign universities. All these things he has to move with the time. And now with this document, so many things are here. Unless and until a gentleman, a senior professor or a senior man is exposed to the real vagaries of the Indian education system, and he has seen one or two foreign universities, if he has not seen, at least soon after appointment, he must be sent to at least one or two foreign universities to study the best practices. It is not that he is a vice chancellor, he doesn't need any training or exposure. No, I have personally seen, no names, no comments, that some of the vice chancellors are not visionaries. Just they would pass time and go. I don't know what to name. So then I told you about affiliated colleges. All the affiliated colleges should look up to the vice chancellor. That is a gem. He's a gem in administration. He's a gem in academics, and he's a visionary. Everybody should be able to take help from. So this much I wanted to. I've got another list of 10-15 points of the qualities for a good vice chancellor, but I won't tell it now. I can share it later on. So this is what I thought of higher academic leadership in the universities. Deans are by rotation, that is okay. But principals are again by choice, if I'm not wrong, which is again a negative point as far as the college administrations go. And I'm not going to the school level leadership. So about 8 years back, I along with one senior professor of Usmania, we have done a study on leadership qualities of headmasters in implementation of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. We found a lot of loopholes in that we don't discuss now. So I will limit it to this much, and thank you very much. If there is anything else to be shared, I will come in again.
Narendra, చాలా సంతోషం అండి. You did a wonderful presentation for us. Thank you very much first.
Sir, 1 second, sir. 1 second, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Narendra Reddy garu did a good job. Sir, all the VCs should be a visionary, and he should have at least a vision for at least 30 years.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, sir.
So, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your kind concern. And also, we recognize the presence of Professor Sudarshan Rao garu, and we cordially welcome him to this session. So, Anand Krishna garu, you can take over.
Sir, Narendra Reddy garu.
Sir, cheppandi.
I'm sorry, I have a very bad throat today. Sorry, excuse me for that. Anyway, you were pointing out at a point that there should be a separation of dependence by the vice chancellors with the government. This is what I understood in a way, and not to be tied down only to the administrative work, but they should act as the real leader, leading from the forefront to see that there will be excellence in academics for all these students in that university. Am I right, sir?
Exactly, I said that. Yes, you're right. You're right. But indulgence of, I will tell you the problem with the problem for the Vice Chancellor is the funding.
That's right. You said it in the last meeting.
Yes.
You said it in the last meeting. Funding is the problem, and they loiter in the corridors of the government.
Yes,
Before
sir.
the secretary with all the rates. I am on that point. We are working on that.
And one more thing, at the moment, the present condition is in Usmania University, for example, there are 70% ad hoc faculty and only 30% full timers.
True. That is one more area.
And there is no appointment for so many years. So, and then we are talking about a big document and vision and all. Kahan se aayega? How will we do it, sir?
And there are so many other pointers also, which I may point at as and when we come to that point.
Right, sir.
One more point is winding up of courses where employment opportunities are opening for that particular course. To
Yes.
For example, Putti Sri Ramlu University has wound up course on Sanskrit, MA Sanskrit, whereas there are so many openings for MA lecturers. Where will be the feeder category? Anyway, one more, Prithvi Garu. I'm sorry. Prithvi Garu, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Our colleague friends are putting questions, so you may have to
Yeah.
place sufficient time for the questions also. I have already around half a dozen questions now. I'll place it at the end of the show. All the best. Go ahead. Next panelist.
I'm very happy, sir. The participants, they started asking questions. Actually, we would love to answer more that. I request, I just want to check Professor Surendra Reddy garu. You're there? Okay, thank you. Sir, could you please on your mic?
Okay, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir. Sir, I request you to,
Brief
throw some
observations.
light on the NEP as well as the New Age leadership, academic leadership. You being an ASCII trainer as well as person involved in industry, I request you to give points on that, sir.
Yeah, see, let me start by stating that education is liberalization.
Video.
Also. Okay.
Sir, your audio and video is a little weak, I think. You just need to adjust your. Yeah, now it is, I think.
Yeah. So education is both liberation as well as liberalization. So therefore, this.
Sir, your audio is not clear.
Audio, video also.
Video is also not clear.
We can't see him.
Yeah.
Not clear. I think it's coming as weak.
Yeah, maybe any other gadgets which are already connected to your internet. Could you please turn it off? I think he's trying to re-log in. Yeah. In the meanwhile,
Why don't you take on?
yeah, I think that's suggested. Thank you, sir. I'll just start with where you have left. In fact, it's very rightly said. To have a proper leadership, there are only two options for any institution or an organization: either to recruit the best or train them to be the best. So,
Excuse me, Prithvi garu.
sir.
You have not taken permission from the moderator that you will now talk.
Yeah, moderator earlier actually is having some throat problem.
Okay.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah,
Sir,
I
go
can
ahead.
hear you, sir.
I'll make some quick observations.
Yeah, please, Surendra Reddy garu, please talk.
I said education is liberation.
No.
We celebrated independence,
No, sir.
but if we want real freedom, I think we should give education for all.
Sir, Surendra Reddy garu is not clear. I mean, it is not audible.
Yeah.
Audible is not on the video also.
Yeah, he is having some internet issue. Last time also, we.
Sir,
had
let
some
us
such
take
problem.
his at the end. You please
Yeah.
continue, na? Prithvi garu.
Hello,
Yeah.
Prithvi garu, you may continue.
are you able to hear me?
No.
Sir, Surendra Reddy garu, me
I'll
audio and
join
video.
later.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll come
I
on
think-
other device.
Yes.
I think
I'll
admin
come on
వచ్చింది
other
Surendra Reddy
device. You
garu
please proceed.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you.
అవునండి.
Thank you. So,
హలో.
sir, moderator garu, should I go ahead?
Please
Yeah,
go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Anand Krishna garu say.
As
వచ్చానండి.
I
I
said
am
just
here.
before,
Okay.
as I said just before, to have an excellent academic leadership or any leadership, even in the organizations also, actually there are only two options: either to recruit the best or train them to the best. Now, I'm going to address on basically on the sort of a recruitment process, which is happening now. I'll start with the higher education itself, the tertiary education itself. What Colonel and Professor say, Narendra Reddy garu said. I remember in the 2014 when there was a recruitment of the 7 to 8 vice chancellors, 7 vice chancellors to the 9 state universities in Telangana. In that time, in the paper, it was written very clearly that CM had satisfied all the categories. That means the point was, it's like he had distributed the seats, the vice chancellor position based on the castes and reservations. Unfortunately, that did not work out.
Not reservation. There is no reservation, sir.
Yeah, technically there is no word called reservations in the constitution, but in the paper, the way the media had written, he had satisfied anni vargala varni santrupti parcharu.
That's it.
So when we had gone through that, it was all clearly mentioned that it was distribution based on various other categories.
Well, we
rather
can say
than
it as we can say it as it can be implied or inferred that it is being satisfied on those lines, but though it is not clearly spelled out.
Yes.
Right.
So from that level, now actually what happened is that since the last the 3+ years, what we have seen, the sort of an outcome what these universities achieved during their leadership was not that satisfactory. Again, there was some reviews and all that, so many discussions happened. In fact, what I am seeing, there was another news also which came, like CM had raised the reservations for other categories. Again, I don't know the word, what actually I should say, but for a particular category, he had raised the teacher positions up to 50% and above. Now, the problem is that if we take such sort of a teachers, who come with some sort of a reservation or anything, some category, some quota, how are we going to achieve as policies like NEP? How are we going to compete the global standards? So that became an issue. If you want to have an education system like Finland, definitely the merit should come in. The people should be selected more based on their competencies and capabilities rather than
Anything else.
Yes. And in fact, if we go through that, sir, very recently IIM started the same. The recruitment of the directors, it was done by they have started now. The alumni is actually doing the recruitment. It is not the government or any committee which is recruiting the directors. As well as even IITs also, very recently they have approached the government and requested that, sir, at least there should not be any reservations in the, because they have a chance to compete in the with the global universities, and they want to come in the global top 100. That is the main aim, for which the governments and the institutions are working. As Professor Surendra Reddy garu is there, sir, I request you to continue. I'll again join if you have any net related issue.
That's fine. That's fine.
Prithvi garu, you continue for your session, and then he will be adding.
Yeah.
No, his worry is that if he is going to cut his line again, we'll be
Yes.
missing his wisdom. So even that is okay. Mix and match.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Surendra Reddy garu, we don't want to miss your wisdom today.
Yes, I have been exchanging ideas with Mr. Prithvi.
Fine.
So definitely we will have a good, wavelength. I started by saying that education is liberation. So yesterday we celebrated our Independence Day, but the real independence is given by education. That is the ultimate equalizer. Prithvi asked me about, leadership in our education domain. But unfortunately, there is a leadership famine in this field. And, I was joking with him, chancellors are becoming, by chance, not by choice. Chance is making them chancellors or vice chancellors. Okay. So this is really very unfortunate. The policy talks about continuous professional development that is equally relevant even at the higher levels in the field of education. Continuous professional development is important even for the vice chancellors, the principals, and everyone. At ASCII, we organized a program for vice chancellors, in the country. They also attended programs on, emerging domains like intellectual property rights. In fact, we organized a program for High Court judges also. We organized a program for High Court judges. The subject was intellectual property rights, because when they studied law, the subject wasn't there. So continuous professional development is very important for everybody at every level. The new policy, another interesting thing I would like to say is I was jotting down this new academic policy 2020. My neighbor's grandson came in and said, "What is this NEP Zozo?" He said. He read 2020 as it was Zozo. Oh, I thought, I was really shocked. It's not Zozo, it is 2020. The message was that it should not make us sleep. Okay, so it should, make the domain vibrant. I'm happy that the policy talks about accreditation in school education. So far, it's there at college level, but if it is introduced at school level also, that's very important. This is another, important development. So, policy says privatization is not commercialization. But in the minds of people, privatization and commercialization, they are one and the same. So that should not happen. So privatization, setting up private universities, all these should not lead to commercialization of education. Then someone else commented, I asked another, young kid who is in the middle school, what is holistic education? Holistic education. He says, perhaps it is full of holes, he said. Holistic.
You have a ready wit. I
Yeah.
don't, that Zozo is your invention. I would only suspect you, sir.
No.
Anyway, sir, proceed. It is your invention.
Definitely not. I love playing with kids.
I know, I understand. No, it's in the lighter vein.
So there is a focus on increasing GER, the gross enrollment rate. Enrollment is input. We should also focus on the outcomes. Are we conscious about the outcomes? In our opinion, hands-on learning is the most important thing. Unless we have hands-on learning, promote hands-on learning, we cannot get the desired results. So hands-on learning should be promoted, at all levels, in the schools, in the colleges, universities, at every level. There must be at least 50% time earmarked for practice, hands-on learning. So that's very, very important. The policy also talks about motivated, energized, and capable faculty. We should ensure that. How are we going to ensure that? And one of the things suggested is mentoring. Mentoring is suggested for students, but I honestly feel that mentoring is required for faculty members also. So to motivate them, to energize them, and to make them capable. Mentoring for faculty. So the senior faculty can mentor them. Their own gurus can mentor. We have to evolve a system where faculty also continuously, upgrade themselves through, continuing education, mentoring, and things like that. And one of the highlights of the policy is, launching National Research Foundation. But this will, produce best results only if industry-institute interaction is promoted. So that is missing. You know, that's a missing link in Indian education. There is hardly any interaction with the industry. What industry is doing, you know, the developments in the industry are not known to academia, and what's happening in the domain of education is, you know, is of no concern to industry. So this should not be allowed to continue. I think in the implementation, I think there should be ample focus on promoting industry institute, you know, interaction. These are the quick, you know, points I would like to make. On the whole, I think it's a very good initiative. It was definitely needed, and as we, you know, go forward, we can make necessary changes and improvements. As Prime Minister Modi said, it's only Niti. Rananiti, you know, has to be evolved. Okay, I'm sure we have enough wisdom in the country to make this, you know, work and make it effective and make it produce the desired goals and objectives. Thank you.
That's a nice presentation by Surendra Reddy garu. Thank you very much, sir. Now I understand what we missed in the last session from you.
Thank you for the compliment, sir.
That is one. Second thing, sir, you were talking about industry and education as an outsider from education department. My quick understanding was like this. So I will also share with you on the same JoJo model. A 4-year BTech, a 4-year BTech from reputed colleges, whatever the name you want to put, they ultimately land in Amirpet to learn C++ and net or Java.
Yes.
I don't think they are not even engineers would be operating these businesses there. But I think you find a very huge line of buildings with 250 boards per building, and around maybe 100 boards there, around 2,500. All the engineering students are landing there to be industry utility model.
Yeah, that's why they call it Amirpet University.
That's right.
Amirpet.
No, we also have one more university which probably you also know, that is called WhatsApp University and Facebook University. We got a lot of gyan from them as well. Anyway.
Very true, sir. Very
So
true.
that is one thing. So industry application is a very pertinent point which you made it. And one more thing which I was carefully looking at is your talk. Let me put it, Surendra Reddy garu, I liked your presentation style. The reason is you wanted to say something, but you said it undercurrent. That probably is your style of functioning. You said so many things, but you made a very pertinent point that just planning, having wisdom, preparing documents is not an end in itself, but execution is an important task. That is where we are missing, is a very clear message unsaid by you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you very
Thank
much.
sir.
Prithvi garu, next panelist మీరు
Sir, may I take 1 minute, sir?
Please, all yours. Ayo.
Surendra Reddy garu, he pointed out one important point, sir. Actually, quality output gives you, quality input gives you a quality output. Unless we give a quality input, we can't expect a quality output. Sir. This is more important. And second is, when mentoring requires training, especially as Prithvi garu pointed out, mentoring requires training, sir. Certainly, we should have a trained, we should recruit and train the person so that a quality product will come out. And one should throw challenges to the faculty, and one should throw challenges to the students even. And one has possibly case studies. Somebody has questioned that some case studies can be introduced to 10+2 system. Yes, certainly. Faculty and students, they should have case studies so that a quality output will come, and that will give a qualitative product to the nation even, I think. Thank you, Surendra Reddy garu. Thank you for giving me opportunity. Sir.
One more point, sir.
Sir.
See, listen and silent are made out of the same letters.
Yes, sir. Just you jumble it.
Similarly, leadership and dealership are also made out of the same letters.
I
Just
know.
you just jumble it, that's all.
Sir, Surendra garu.
There is cash in chaos.
Surendra
There is
garu.
cash in chaos, sir.
Surendra
There is cash
garu.
in chaos. Only thing is that you have to see.
మీ పేరుకి మేము ఒక ఆర్ యాడ్ చేసుకుంటున్నాం సార్ అంతే.
Okay, sir.
అంటే సరెండర్ అయిపోతున్నాం.
Thank you so much, sir.
సురేందర్ గారికి ఒక ఆర్ యాడ్ చేసుకుని సరెండర్ అయిపోతున్నాం. పృథ్వీ గారు నెక్స్ట్ ప్యానలిస్ట్.
Yeah, yeah. Thank
I think you are the next panelist.
Yes, sir. As you know, the time is very short. We will more go with the audience questions. Before that, I just
No, you complete your task. You complete your task. We have questions.
Yeah.
We have only 10 questions on hand, and they can be interlinked and answered in one piece. There is no difficulty. I have gone through the questions. You be on your time for whatever time you want to take, 5, 10, 20, 10 minutes.
No, I'll try to take as less as it's possible.
Fine.
One is, as I said earlier, it was more on the selection process. Either we need to select the best or train them to be the best. So in the selection process, what I have seen, if you go with the, as I'm an accreditation and ranking consultant, when I audit the self-study reports of universities, actually there is going to have one column called how many chairs and emeritus you have. Generally, the universities put there as a 0. Then I had to, explain them why that particular field is there, why they want to have emeritus and chairs in the institutions. When I had gone through immediately I have downloaded some files from the net, gave it to the the university team. It was very clearly written that all the top 100 universities, top ranked universities, they have 1/3 of their faculty from the industry as emeritus and chairs. So it is like you have a computer department, and if you have recruited, you bought on board some Sundar Pichaya or Satya Nadella onto the board, the sort of an advantage what you are going to have on the board, that it is going to matter a lot. So in this process, actually, when you want to get into the new change, what one need to do is that they need to have an openness to collaborate. That is which was missing earlier. In fact, in the training process also, actually there are the 4 areas in which a faculty need to be trained continuously. One is on the teaching skills, one is on the research, publication and consulting skills, one is on the leadership skills, because he has to move from a professor to assistant professor to professor to HOD to principal and the vice registrar and the vice chancellor. So they need to the leadership training like what we do get in the corporate side. So that sort of a rigor they should have on that one. And one more training area is they should understand all these regulatory mechanism. What is an act, what is NBA, what are policies, what is NEP and all that. So unfortunately, this was missing. And in the leadership, as it was very clearly pointed out, what was missing in the leadership is the vision. Unless and until a leader has a vision, he cannot drive the institution. And Professor Ramamurthy also said that at least VC should have a minimum of 30 years vision. So if vision is a destination, mission is the milestones. So how they are going to make? In fact, I do correlate with what Dr. Colonel Narendra Reddy garu said. Even in fact, it is suggested if a VC, before he is going to take up any role or something in the selection process, he should present his own vision document. He should present his own what actually he is going to achieve in the in his term. What are actually the key result areas or key performance areas? All these things actually a leader should present. Based on that, a selection should happen. So there are 4 areas in which a person need to be trained. And obvious in the accreditation also, in the NAC and NBA and various other areas. For the leadership and governance, there are points. And especially this being a change management, obvious a leadership at every level. It could be at a school level or a college level or even at a university level. Every level, there need to be a proper training for this change management. And they should be open to collaborate with the industry and other experts. And they need to go ahead with that. In general, what I have seen, they used to be in their silos. Okay, we being an academicians, we are enough to teach everything. Now the NEP doesn't permit that. There is a sheet which reflects on the academic marks. There is another column which reflects on the skill area. Skills need to be taught by the functional experts. Either if they are, they are introducing the performing arts. performing arts cannot be taught by an academician. So it will be taught by another expert from the performing arts. It is called residential artists. So the schools are going to have these residential artists who are going to teach this. Okay. And finally, one is selection, one is training, but actually what it is going to be checked out at the end is the impact analysis. What sort of a contribution they have done to the community. That is very, very important. In fact, if you have seen these days, the sustainable development goals also they have added as one of the impact analysis. So what sort of a benefit, that particular institution or a school had done to the universe, to the community, that is going to be very, very crucial. If you take even a university like Usmania, it has produced a number of politicians, a number of great leaders. So it all going to matter. Actually, what is the contribution? So basically, the number of researchers, what it is going to do, the number of patents it's going, the number of inventions it is going to do, and the number of scientists it's going to produce. So all these things are going to come out. So selection, recruitment, training, and impact analysis. These are the three areas. And obvious, they need to have a proper audit system, and one should check out what is the performance. Even at the time of renewal or extension of any VC, there should be a clear presentation, and it should be known to all the stakeholders that what he had achieved during that time. So no other things should come into the criteria. It is exclusively the competences, the capabilities need to come, and a leader should have a vision. That is very, very important. And we are now, let's open for the audience questions, sir.
Yes. Before that, Prudhvi, I think you should have spoken without being on live with your face, because all VCs and other top dignitaries will be behind you to hit you hard.
Oh,
you are asking for a progress report and a progress card to be maintained for VCs and everybody.
I do that, sir.
Yeah, that's a valid point. That's a valid point. What I'm saying is, my point is that yes, there is no evaluation. I'll tell you one more example. There are so many trainings contemplated, probably at all levels, whether it is in the employment framework or in the education framework or the teaching framework. But is there any mechanism? Supposing I am sent for a training, for some training, whatever it is, whether it is a language training or whether it is a teaching skill training or whether it is a personality development training, whatever you call it. What did I learn? What are my inputs? What is my value addition? Number one. And how did I translate my value addition to that of the needy persons for whom I am being trained? Next, if I am not able to translate, where is the loophole? Whether I am at fault or at the reception level is fault. It can be both sides, right?
Right.
So that evaluation, and if I am found fault, I cannot be found fault because I have to perform my task. And I'm not performing my task is why I am not able to translate my wisdom into an action plan. So what is the course of action? The higher level personalities are going to do that. This is absolutely missing link. That is why training centers are considered as rest and recuperation models. It is a place where I can meet all my old friends living in various parts of the place where we are working. So this model has to go, and it shall have to go. And one thing that is percolating from all the talk is everybody, the one common denominator of all these panelists is that you are talking about qualitative appointments and sans political influence, sans political considerations. And these are all the basic phenomena which we all are talking. But the question is, they sound excellent, they sound meaningful, they may sound anything else, but is it practical is one more question. So there are so many other things which we have to look at it. See, as an educationalist, I may suggest so many things. You may suggest so many things. But as a politician, mind you, it is the political will that works in the country, not the intellectual will. You can mark my words on this. It is the political will that works. It is not the intellectual will that works in this country for various reasons. And how are you going to influence that political will to make so many things happen, which probably this one forum and 1 hour talk is not sufficient. I'm only giving a pointer so that we can plan one more session on exclusively on this front of it.
Sure, sir.
That is
Sure.
one aspect. And
Right.
next, that is one aspect. Now I'll give the questions. Shall I give the questions?
Yeah, please.
Sir, one second, sir.
Yes.
Professor Sudarshan Rao Garu is there,
Ah.
and you may ask him for his comments even.
Yes. Sudarshan Rao Garu. Namaskaram, sir. Professor Sudarshan Rao Garu.
నమస్కారం అండి.
నమస్తే. మీరు కూడా విన్నారు, మాకు చాలా ఆనందం. బీయింగ్ హియర్ ఆన్ ది షో ఇస్ ఎ గ్రేట్ ఆనర్ టు మీ. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. మీరు కూడా క్వశ్చన్స్ చూడండి సార్. ఇఫ్ యూ కెన్ యాడ్ సమ్ ఆన్సర్ టు ది క్వశ్చన్, ఐ థింక్ దట్ వుడ్ బి వండర్ఫుల్. ఐ విల్ బి షేరింగ్ ది క్వశ్చన్స్.
క్వశ్చన్స్ పెద్దగా అవసరం లేదు ఈ విషయంలో.
ఓకే, అయితే చెప్పండి సార్, మీరు చెప్పదలుచుకున్న మాటలు చెప్పండి సార్.
2 మాటలు రామ్మూర్తి గారు అన్నారు చెప్పమని.
చెప్పండి సార్, చెప్పండి.
ఆ 2 మాటలు చెప్తాను.
ఓకే, ఒక్క నిమిషం సార్. ఇన్ ది మీన్ టైమ్ లెట్ మై అదర్ ఫ్రెండ్స్ గో త్రూ ది క్వశ్చన్స్. ఐఎమ్ డిస్ప్లేయింగ్ ఇట్ హియర్. ఓకే, ఎస్ చెప్పండి సార్. చెప్పండి సార్ సుదర్శన్ రావు గారు.
ఇదేటో పోయింది, చూస్తున్నాను నేను. ఇది ఏదో షేర్ చేస్తున్నట్టున్నారు ఇవన్నీ.
పర్లేదు, మీరు చెప్పచ్చండి.
షేరింగ్ ఏదో జరుగుతుంది.
ఓ ఐసీ, తీసేసాలండి.
తీసేయండి. కాస్త నన్ను నేను చూసుకోగలుగుతాను కదా.
దాని ఫైన్. ఓకే.
చాలా బాగుందండి, ఎందుకంటే లీడర్షిప్ గురించి మాట్లాడారు. లీడర్షిప్ గురించి మాట్లాడిన వాళ్ళలో డైరెక్ట్గా యూనివర్సిటీ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్తో అనుభవం ఉన్న వాళ్ళు నాకు ఉన్నారని అనుకోవడం లేదు. కానీ వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్లు ఎలా ఉండాలి, ఇప్పుడు ఎలా ఉన్నారు, ఆ సెలక్షన్స్ ఎలా అవుతున్నాయి, వీటి గురించి చాలా చక్కగా రియలిస్టిక్గా చెప్పారు. అయితే మనం ఈ ఎన్ఈపిని దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకుని మనం ఈ లీడర్షిప్ గురించి మనం ఆలోచిస్తున్నప్పుడు ఒక కార్పొరేట్ సెక్టర్కును యూనివర్సిటీ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ చాలా డిఫరెన్స్ ఉంటుంది. ఇప్పుడు మేము ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తున్నామంటే యూనివర్సిటీస్లో వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ను సిఈఓ అని అంటారు వీళ్ళు. ఆ విధంగా రాసుకుంటాం మనం దాంట్లో, హీఈస్ ది సిఈఓ అని. సో హీ హ్యాస్ టు సెలెక్ట్ హిస్ ఓన్ టీమ్. అమాంగ్ టీచింగ్ ఫ్యాకల్టీల నుంచే ఒక రిజిస్ట్రార్ను, కంట్రోలర్ ఆఫ్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్, వీళ్ళందరినీ అకాడమిక్ పర్సన్స్ని తీసుకుంటారు ఆయన. నాన్ టీచింగ్ స్టాఫ్ వేరుగా ఉంటుంది. అయితే ఈ వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ టర్మ్ కూడా ఇక్కడ చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. మనం వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్కు 3 సంవత్సరాలు అన్నాం. మన పెద్దలను మాట్లాడే దాంట్లో 30 years విజన్ ఉండాలి వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్. 30 years వాడే ఉండడు. ఆ విజన్ వాడు ఏర్పాటు చేస్తే వాడు చేసిన విజన్ ఇంకొక వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయడు, వాడు వేరే చేస్తాడు. అందుకని మనం ఎప్పుడైతే విజన్, ఇప్పుడు కూడా అడుగుతున్నారు ఈ సెలక్షన్ కమిటీలో, ఇప్పుడు సాదాపుగా సెలక్షన్ కమిటీ ఉంది, దాంట్లో విజన్ డాక్యుమెంట్ ఒకటి ఇవ్వమని చెప్పి అప్లై చేసిన వాళ్ళు అడుగుతున్నారు. ఈ విజన్ డాక్యుమెంట్లో వాళ్ళు ఒక 3 yearsలో వాళ్ళు ఏం చేయగలుగుతారు అనేది మాత్రం చెప్తారు. 30 years విజన్ వాళ్ళు ఇవ్వలేరు. అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఉన్నటువంటి ఈ మొత్తం వ్యవస్థనే పూర్తిగా రిఫార్మ్ అంటే సంస్కరణ కాదు అనేది, రీఫార్మ్ చేస్తే అప్పుడు మనం ఎన్నిటి యొక్క ఐడియల్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో వాటిని ఒక సరైన సిస్టమ్ను మనం డెవలప్ చేయవలసి వస్తుంది. అయితే ఆ విధంగా మనం తీసుకొచ్చినప్పుడు ఈ ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్ ఏంటంటే వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ ఎలా ఉండాలి, సెలక్షన్ ఎలా జరగాలి. ఇప్పుడు వారు మన పృథ్వీ గారు చెప్పారు, తర్వాత నరేంద్ర గారు కూడా చెప్పారు, సురేందర్ గారు కూడా చెప్పారు. ఈ వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ సెలక్షన్ ఇంకా ఫారిన్ యూనివర్సిటీస్లో ఏ విధంగా ఉంది మీరు చూస్తుంటారా? యూనివర్సిటీ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మ్యాగజైన్స్ వస్తుంటాయి. వాటిలో వాళ్ళు ఒక 2 years ముందు నుంచి ప్లాన్ చేస్తారు వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకోవాలంటే. ఇప్పుడు మన దగ్గర రియలిస్టిక్ ఏమవుతుందంటే 2 years అయిన తర్వాత ఆలోచిస్తాం. టర్మ్ కూడా అయిపోతుంది. మీరే అన్నారు, 2 ఏళ్ళు అయిపోయింది, ఎవరు వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ లేరు. ఎవరిని పెడతారన్నది మరి వాళ్ళకి తోచిన వాళ్ళని పెడతారు.
సార్ సారీ టు డిస్టర్బ్ యూ, 2 universities లాస్ట్ 7 years నుంచి లేరు సార్ వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ స్టేట్ లోనే.
అవును, అయితే ఆ విధంగా మన దగ్గర ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ ఉన్నాయి. కానీ ఫారిన్ యూనివర్సిటీస్లో దాదాపు 2 years ముందు నుంచే ప్లాన్ ప్రారంభం అవుతుంది. అంటే వాళ్ళు ఒక 5 years 10 years అతనికి ఒక విజన్ ఒకవేళ ఉంటే దాన్ని ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేయడానికి ఒక మంచి అవకాశం ఇస్తారు. కాబట్టి అక్కడ విజన్స్ వేరు, ఇక్కడ విజన్స్ వేరు. ఇక్కడ విజన్స్ లో ముఖ్యంగా మనం ఎప్పుడైతే ఎన్ఈపి అన్నామో ఎన్ఈపిలోనే మనం అన్ని విజన్స్ ఇచ్చేసాం. వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ వచ్చి కొత్తగా ఏదో సిస్టమ్ మార్చి దాన్ని ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ మార్చేసి కరికులం మార్చేసి ఇవన్నీ కొత్తగా చేయవలసిన అవకాశం వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్స్ ఉండటం లేదు. తర్వాత ఇంకోటి ఏంటంటే మీరు ఇంకోటి అన్నారు, వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ లో మునిగిపోయాడు, వాడికి గ్రాంట్స్ వీటి అవి నిజమే, కరెక్ట్. ఇప్పుడు జరుగుతున్న వ్యవహారం విధంగా ఉంది. మరి వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ నుంచి ఒక అకాడమిక్ లీడర్షిప్ రావాలి కదా, అది ప్రధానమైనటువంటి విషయం. ఒక యూనివర్సిటీకి ఒక పేరు రావాలంటే వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ వల్లనే రాదు, అది మనం ప్రధానంగా గుర్తించాలి. అయితే మనం ఇప్పుడు ఉన్నటువంటివన్నీ కూడా మనము కార్పొరేట్ సెక్టర్లో లాగా ఒక సిఇఓని పెట్టుకొని ఆ సిఇఓని లాభాలు కానివ్వండి నష్టాలు కానివ్వండి వాడిని ఇదే రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ చేస్తుంటాం. ఇక్కడ అలా కాదు. ఇక్కడ వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ మాత్రమే చూసుకుంటున్నాడు, అకాడమిక్ లీడర్షిప్ ఇవ్వగలిగిన వాడు కాదు. ఎందుకంటే వీని ఎక్స్పర్టీస్ కూడా చాలా లిమిటెడ్ ఏరియాలో ఉంటుంది ఈయన ఎక్స్పర్టీస్. కాబట్టి ఈయన మామూలుగా జనరల్ క్వాలిటీస్ గురించి మాట్లాడగలుగుతాడు, జనరల్ క్వాలిటీస్ ఇన్స్పైర్ చేయగలుగుతాడే కానీ ఒక అకాడమిక్ లీడర్షిప్ ఈయనంతటి ఈయన ఇవ్వలేడు. అందుకని ఇప్పుడు మన కొత్త వ్యవస్థ ఏదైనా ఆలోచిస్తున్నప్పుడు ఒక ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఒక ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్టేటస్ అని అనుకున్నప్పుడు మనకు విదేశాల్లో ఉండే యూనివర్సిటీస్ లో కూడా ఒక రకమైన ఒక కమిటీ, ఒక బోర్డు ఉంటుంది, అకాడమిక్ బోర్డే ఉంటుంది. ఆ అకాడమిక్ బోర్డులో డిఫరెంట్ ఆ యూనివర్సిటీస్ అయితే ఉన్నాయో వాటికి తగినటువంటి వాళ్ళు చాలా ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్, ఇంటర్నేషనల్లీ నోన్ ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ వాళ్ళు ఉంటారు ఆ బోర్డులో. అయితే ఇక్కడ సింగిల్ హ్యాండ్ లీడర్షిప్ కాకుండా కలెక్టివ్ లీడర్షిప్ ఒక యూనివర్సిటీకి ఉండాల్సి వస్తుంది. ఆ కలెక్టివ్ లీడర్షిప్ ఇచ్చినప్పుడు మనకి కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ ఉండదు ఒక్కడి మీద. కాబట్టి సెలక్షన్ ప్రాసెస్ లో కూడా కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ ఉండదు. ఒకడే వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ ఒక బోర్డు ఉంటుంది. అయితే అటువంటి బోర్డును మనం సెలక్షన్స్ చేసుకున్నాం. అందుకని మామూలుగా యూనివర్సిటీ ప్రొఫెసర్స్ కూడా విదేశాల్లో వాళ్ళు మొదలే అడ్వాన్స్గా వాళ్ళు 1 year ముందు నుంచి చేస్తుంటారు. మాకు ఫలాని ఏరియాలో ఫలాని ప్రొఫెసర్ కావాలి. ఇంటర్నేషనల్ సెలక్షన్స్ ఉంటాయి. మన దగ్గర సెలక్షన్స్ మన స్టేట్కు లేకపోతే మన తెలంగాణకు లేక మన మంత్రి గారి అబ్బాయికి ఉంటున్నది. కాబట్టి ఈ స్థాయి వేరు. మనకి అంతటా కూడా ఇన్బ్రీడింగ్ ఉంది మన యూనివర్సిటీస్లో. ఇప్పుడు అక్కడ చదువుకున్న వాడే అక్కడే ఉద్యోగం సంపాదిస్తున్నాడు. ఇప్పుడు మీరు చెప్పేటువంటి 70% పార్ట్ టైమర్స్ ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో వీళ్ళందరూ ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చారు? కనుల ఆ సబ్జెక్టులలో ఆ డిపార్ట్మెంట్లో చదువుకొని ఖాళీగా ఉండి ఉద్యోగం దొరకక ఇక్కడికి వచ్చి ఒక పీరియడ్ 2 పీరియడ్లు పార్ట్స్ తీసుకుంటున్నారు. ఈ కారణంగానే ఉద్యోగాలు కూడా ఇవ్వటం లేదు, ప్రభుత్వం నింపటం లేదు. ఎందుకంటే వీళ్ళే బోల్డ్ మంది ఉన్నారు. వీళ్ళని తీసేయాలా రేపు రెగ్యులర్ చేయాలా రిక్రూట్మెంట్లో? ఇది వీళ్ళకి పెద్ద సమస్య. కాబట్టి ఇప్పుడు ఈ కలెక్టివ్ లీడర్షిప్ కనుక మనం యూనివర్సిటీస్లో తీసుకొని వచ్చి ఈ ఎన్ఈపి లాంటి దాంట్లో మనం ఒక ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో వాటి యొక్క ఎయిమ్స్ అండ్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్ మనం ఆల్రెడీ ఒక పెద్ద కమిటీ ద్వారా, ఒక బోర్డు ద్వారా, ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ బోర్డు ద్వారా మనం ఏర్పాటు చేసి యూనివర్సిటీ లీడర్షిప్ కూడా ఒక కలెక్టివ్ లీడర్షిప్ కనుక మన చేతిలో పెట్టినట్టయితే అప్పుడు డీన్స్ ఉండేవాడు. ఇప్పుడు చాలా యూనివర్సిటీలో డీన్స్ చాలా పవర్ఫుల్, వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ కన్నా పవర్ఫుల్ డీన్స్ మిగతా యూనివర్సిటీస్లో ఎక్కడ కూడా బయట. మరి ఇక్కడ మన దగ్గర సెంట్రల్ యూనివర్సిటీస్లో కాస్త డీన్ పవర్స్ ఉన్నాయి, కానీ స్టేట్ యూనివర్సిటీలో డీన్స్కి ఏమీ పవర్స్ లేవు. ఆ విధంగా ఇక్కడ మంచి డీన్స్ను, ఫ్యాకల్టీకి ఒక ఇద్దరు డీన్స్ను పెట్టేసి ఈ యొక్క కలెక్టివ్ లీడర్షిప్ ఇచ్చి వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ మామూలుగా ఒక కోఆర్డినేటర్, ఒక కన్వీనర్ కాక సో మన అంతకృష్ణ గారిలాగా మనతో మాట్లాడినచ్చు
స్టేటస్ పెంచేశారు.
వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ ఉన్నట్టయితే అతను మిగతా వాళ్ళందరినీ సమన్వయపరుచుకుంటాడు. తర్వాత అతను బయట సమాజానికి అతను ఒక సింబల్ గా కనపడతాడు, ఒక లీడర్ గా కనపడతాడు. అట్లా మనం ఒక సిస్టమ్ యూనివర్సిటీ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ ఇప్పుడు దాన్ని ఇది మనం బ్రిటిష్ వాడు ఇచ్చిపోయిన సిస్టమ్ ఇది, మనం కొత్తగా మార్చింది ఏమీ లేదు. అక్కడ వాళ్ళు ఇష్టం వచ్చిన వాళ్ళని వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ పెట్టినారు, వాళ్ళు ఇష్టం వచ్చిన వాళ్ళని ప్రొఫెసర్గా చేసుకున్నారు. ఇప్పుడు అట్లా కాకుండా మనం స్వతంత్రంగా ఆలోచించినప్పుడు ఎన్ఈపిలో నేషనల్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ పాలసీ అన్నప్పుడు మనం సొంతంగా మనం ఒక వ్యవహారం నలంద, తక్షశిల ఈ యూనివర్సిటీస్ పాతవి తీసుకున్నా కానీ ఇదంతా కూడా కలెక్టివ్ లీడర్షిప్లో ఉన్నది. ఏ సబ్జెక్టుకు ఏ డీను ఆ డీన్ చాలా పవర్ఫుల్గా ఉండేవాడు. అట్లా ఉన్నాయి దాదాపు ఒకళ్ళు కాదు. ఇప్పుడు మనకు నల్లద యూనివర్సిటీకి పోయినప్పుడు కనీసం 40-50 సబ్జెక్ట్స్, ఒక్క బుద్ధిజం లేదు, అన్ని సబ్జెక్ట్స్ చెప్పబడ్డాయి. అన్ని సబ్జెక్ట్స్ సంబంధించిన ఆచార్యులు ఉన్నారు. ఒక్క ఆచార్యులు లేడు మన సబ్జెక్టుకు, ఎందరో ఆచార్యులు ఉన్నారు. ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి వాళ్ళ యొక్క క్లయింట్లు వాళ్ళకి స్పెషల్ బట్టి ఉంటుంది.
And they have contradictory subjects also before with them.
అన్ని ఉంటాయి,
అన్ని ఉన్నాయి. And they were given equal importance.
దాంట్లో ఏంటంటే ఆఖరికి పెద్దవాడు అయితే ఉంటాడో ఆ లాస్ట్ ఇయర్ ఫైనల్ ఇయర్ డిపార్చర్ ముందర మాత్రం బుద్ధిజం చెప్తారు. అంతవరకు అన్ని సంప్రదాయాలు చెప్తారు, అన్ని చెప్తారు, అన్ని సబ్జెక్ట్స్ అన్ని శాస్త్రాలు చెప్తారు. మళ్ళీ చిట్ట చివరికి బౌద్ధిక యూనివర్సిటీ కాబట్టి లాస్ట్ ఇయర్ ఫైనల్ ఇయర్ స్టూడెంట్ అండ్ హీస్ పాసింగ్ అవుట్, వాడి చేతుల్లో వాడి చెవుల నిండా బుద్ధిజం నింపి పంపుతారు. అటువంటి యూనివర్సిటీస్. కానీ అదే తక్షశిల తీసుకుంటుంది కాదు, తక్షశిల హిందూ యూనివర్సిటీ, బుద్ధిస్ట్ యూనివర్సిటీ కాదు. అటువంటి యూనివర్సిటీస్ ఉంటాయి. విక్రమశిల ఉంది, అది హిందూ యూనివర్సిటీ. బుద్ధిస్ట్ యూనివర్సిటీ ఒక నలంద మనకు 7th సెంచరీలో వచ్చింది, అంతకుముందు 5th 6th సెంచరీలో ఉన్నవి. అందుకని ఇవి మనం దృష్టిలో పెట్టినట్టయితే ఒక యూనివర్సిటీ మనకి ఆల్రెడీ ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ ఉన్నాయి భారతదేశంలో, భారతీయ సంస్కృతిలో ఉన్న ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ ఇవి. వాటిని మనం దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకున్నట్టయితే ఒక యూనివర్సిటీ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ కలెక్టివ్ లీడర్షిప్లో డీన్స్ను ఎంపవర్ చేసి ఒక చక్కని ఫ్యాకల్టీ తయారు చేసుకున్నట్టయితే చాలా చక్కని వ్యవస్థ ఏర్పడుతుంది. ఎన్ఈపి పాలసీస్ దాన్ని విజన్ ఇచ్చిన వాళ్ళం అవుతాం.
So nice.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Yours is always a value addition to the group. As usual. Prithvi will acknowledge that, right? Whatever.
Yes, sir.
ఆ ప్రాసెస్ నుంచి వచ్చిన వాడిని
అదే కానీ ఇక్కడ మీరు ఒక చిన్న ఇంపార్టెంట్ పాయింట్ చెప్పారు సార్.
సెక్టార్ టచెస్ ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి
మీరు
తేడా చూపించారు.
మీరు చెప్పిన దానిలో నాకు ఒక చోట మాత్రం ఐ వుడ్ లైక్ టు రెస్పెక్ట్ఫుల్లీ డిఫర్. వీసీ కెనాట్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ ద యూనివర్సిటీ అన్నది నేను ఒక విధంగా ఒప్పుకోని కారణం ఏంటంటే, when I entered my graduation, yet to enter my graduation, the notice in the newspapers was students from Usmania University need not apply. But మా జగన్మోహన్ రెడ్డి గారు వచ్చారు, పింగిల్ జగన్మోహన్ రెడ్డి గారు వచ్చారు. He gave value to my education. My degree got a value because of that VC. Whatever it is. అంటే the head of the department has certainly made an impact, whether he actually works directly or indirectly.
నాకు ఆ వ్యవస్థ గురించి బాగా తెలుసు.
అదే సార్ నాకు చెప్తాంటే
అకాడమిక్ లీడర్ కాదు నేను అనేది. అకాడమిక్ లీడర్షిప్ ఉండాలి. జగన్మోహన్ రెడ్డి వచ్చింది కాపీలు కొట్టడం తీసి ఇచ్చాడు,
చాలా
అది పోలీసులు జస్టిస్ కాబట్టి.
పాయింట్ ఏంటంటే he has implemented a thought.
అంటే ఒక ఇండివిజువల్ ఏం చేయగలుగుతాడనే పాయింట్ కాదు, వీసీ ఏం చేయగలుగుతాడు.
అదే కరెక్ట్. అంటే నాకు వెంటనే
ఒక వ్యక్తి చాలా గొప్పగా పనిచేస్తాడు.
కరెక్ట్. Okay, we'll proceed.
చాలా మంది 150 మంది ఉన్నారు.
అదే చూద్దాం సార్,
వాళ్ళు చేయగలుగుతారా?
చేయలేరు. పృథ్వీ గారు క్వశ్చన్స్ కి చెప్పి ప్యానలిస్ట్ గా డైరెక్ట్ చేయండి సార్.
యా థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ ప్రొఫెసర్ గారు. మీరు చెప్పిన 2 points చాలా వ్యాలిడ్. One is the succession planning is properly there in international universities. It starts much before 2 years. Who should be the next vice chancellor? And second thing is that the sort of a collaborative leadership where he is going to involve others. In fact, here we would like to wish, we wish actually the industry also to be participate in that, as well as the alumni and various other stakeholders. Now let's get back to the questions. Sir, Professor Venkataya garu, sir, we wish to start with you. There was one question.
No, all the panelists got the questions in their chat box.
Yeah, they all got it. Sir, మీరు మీ ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ ఆన్సర్ చేయగలుగుతారా?
I only request all the panelists to see the chat box. I have sent them all the queries received by me till now in both the Facebook and also in our live program. And I am not putting the names because questions are important.
Yes.
And I thank all the queries for their wonderful questions.
Yes.
మీరు క్వశ్చన్ రీడ్ అవుట్ చేయండి లేకపోతే ప్యానల్ పృథ్వీ గారు లేకపోతే.
Yeah, so first question, will this new policy able to eradicate many of the problems what we are facing? Sir, you please on your mic, sir.
Venkataya garu.
Okay. This is very important question, sir, because the predominant ideology of this document is universal, equitable access to high quality learning, high quality education. Really, is it possible? Because in Hyderabad, we are aware there is Delhi public school as well as there is Gully public school. So can we bridge this gap? The children who are educating in Delhi public school, the children who are going to street side public school, that may be Gully public school, is it possible to eradicate or minimize this gap? That is what equitable access, and the infrastructure is very, very important. Infrastructure we need to create, and then in schools as well as universities also. Infrastructure is a challenging problem. It will take time. That's why they are mentioning it is 2040 ultimately. This document will be fully enforced by 2040 after 20 years. After 15 years, affiliating universities will disappear. Affiliating deemed to be and then unitary universities will disappear. Just university will remain there with only 3,000 strength, not more than that. And by 2035, that's why they are taking time. Really, it is difficult to be executed. There is no doubt at all, because we have particularly quality teachers is a challenging task before the government now. Never, not now, since the beginning, education never attracted best and brilliant brains of this country. Never. And then on one side, the government of India, rigorously mentioning this is what, we are moving from summative learning to formative learning, rote learning to role-playing learning or lifelong learning. But our highest job, our toughest exam, that is Indian Civil Services, that is based on just rote learning. There is nothing but rote learning. There is no skill. An entire world, G7 countries, Group 7 countries like USA, Italy, Japan, Germany, France, Canada, all these are moving with skill-driven. Not only knowledge, education is not only gaining knowledge or acquisition knowledge, unless until we apply that knowledge, and we have to move skill-driven. That is, this is not mentioned in our document. We are just in the knowledge gaining only. This is really impossible on 2 points. One is infrastructure development. On the other side, education never attracted, underlying this point, 99%, it is never attracted best and brilliant brains of this country. Never. That
Thank
is
you,
really is a very big problem in India.
Sir, thank you, sir. Related to the second question,
actually, chat chodra, you are missing on the chat. I have sent you one more question.
Okay.
Otherwise, Krishnan Garu, you are asking, in the beginning, can you ask me the same question? I may be able to answer. One of our panelists are mentioning there must be mentoring. It is there in the document, National Mission for Mentoring, which is made up by senior most professors and retired professors. They are grooming the younger ones. That is already
yes,
there.
Sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. It is answered. My question was answered already. Thank you.
Sir,
Yes.
చాలా క్రిస్పీగా చెప్దాము. Let's go with this questions. The second question is, without building proper educational infrastructure, here actually the technology is going to play a bigger role. Technology tone actually it came out as a boon, and with which we could able to reach to the maximum people. In the coming time, we are going to leverage more of the technology and the sort of infrastructure which we are going to build, and the access we are going to increase. It's going to play a bigger role. In fact, we have one of the expert in that line, Prava Jagannatham, but he is in the participant. We will take his inputs on the technology, ICT in education in the coming sessions. And third point, under the new system, one has to study for 4 years to complete their graduation. However, the question arises as to why the student will continue the program, why the student will continue if he or she can get the diploma in 2 years. If he or she left the program midway after 2 years, then he or she could easily have 2 years of experience of work, which will be valuable in the long run. Yeah, this question.
That is not a question at all, because they have planned it in systematic manner. One is certification, the other is diploma, then the degree, then post-graduation. So wherever he wants to stop, he has a choice to do that. So it is not going to hamper at all.
Come back.
He can come back if he so chooses.
That is multi-entry, multi-exit.
Multi-entry, multi-exit. So that is one aspect which is very clearly answered. Next question, sir.
Yeah,
Next question.
I have two questions. The fourth one, which is,
please go ahead.
As intermediate education is merging into school education, do intermediate teachers have to enroll in BA degree?
That
Do
is
we
not the
have enough
criteria at all. See, BEd is one aspect, that is one more educational model. The appointment and education would be considered by the appropriate government. So NEP need not declare on this aspect. It is a separate situation where the qualification to be a teacher at the intermediate level will be considered.
Because he's already a teacher now.
Yes.
Because he's already teaching the subject. If needed, he will be upgraded. Sir.
No, existing teachers will be continued, sir. Another 2-year, 4-year degree is introduced.
Yes, yes,
The
yes.
new coming teachers, they will come with that.
Yes.
The current
they will
teachers will be continuing as it is.
As it is.
There will be no problem.
Yes, yes. There is no problem for the existing group of teachers. That is clear about it. Fifth question, student, sir.
Yeah, will this NEP really help the rural students looking at the current situation where we see students in the government schools don't have access to current infrastructure? Yes,
So,
this is a challenge.
In my
This is the area
presentation,
where-
I was mentioning, sir, Prithvi sir, rural
Yes.
people are considered because local knowledge, customized knowledge is introduced in the new NEP document, where I was
Yes.
mentioning where is carpentry, pottery, painting, farming. Okay, so many are there, weaving and all these, suppose in
Yes.
agriculture, you may prepare, in the last year, that is 18th year, you may train them, a soil specialist, a seed specialist, a climate specialist, a fertilizer fellow, like that, for agriculture using fellow. Like this, you may prepare them. Rurally, that is very, very useful for carpentry or weaving or farming or dairy farming or
Okay.
poultry.
The details are there. So many varieties, options are there.
Rural, it
Yes.
is very, very useful.
That is
sir.
right.
Rural
No,
it
no.
is.
My only submission is keeping the time in mind. We need not explain all varieties available, but you can say so many varieties are already available in the
Yes,
document.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Next.
Yes,
Sixth
yes.
question, student, sir.
Uh,
What kind of
Sixth question
policies
is
should
this.
universities pursue to be competitive in the information age?
yeah,
This is a question requiring a separate discussion, not a simple answer just to answer it, right? Prudhi, what do you say?
could you please come again, sir, with the question?
The kind of policies university should pursue to be competitive in the information age. This is a different big task. This is a big question. It's a half-line question with a big purport behind it.
No, sir, I can actually there are many guidelines. The policy university should pursue. One is already the NAC is there, NBA is there, NIRF is there. They are actually facilitators in enhancing the quality.
Yes,
So even new education
that is
policy,
enough.
Institute of Eminence. So all those things are already there.
That is there. So there are institutions identified for the specific purpose.
Yes.
Right.
In this in this NEP also applicable private or especially teaching in Telugu medium up to this sir ఇది మీరు moderator మీరు చెప్పగలుగుతారు 7
చెప్పండి.
ఏంటి క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటి?
Schools, private schools and corporate schools దగ్గరికి I am going to have a next session exclusively in Telugu. We will answer this question in that. No problem.
Okay. Looking at the scarcity of quality teachers in the current days, will this NEP boost quality education and
100%.
quality teachers to achieve the goal? Yeah.
Certainly, yes.
There is a mechanism of upgrading the skills of a teacher every year. Minimum 50 hours training is there. So obviously they have to undergo all these trainings to upskill, and otherwise the coming days the review systems and all these things, how it's going to work out, it's going to be very clear, perform or perish, even for the teachers also. I may sound little corporate language acidic, but that is it's going to happen. Obvious it is for the good for the nation. So all
No.
teachers
You are mistaken, Prithvi. Lemon, sweet lime, lemon.
Yes.
It sounds acidic, but it ultimately turns into alkaline.
Yeah.
And it has vitamin C.
Yes. So don't worry
Most
about it.
essential in the COVID times.
So therefore, there is no question of acidity or alkaline aspect of it.
Any more questions?
Prithvi.
Yeah, sir. Chappandi.
Prithvi, can you see me?
Yes.
I can.
Yes, sir.
No, we were talking about teachers in Telangana itself. There are about 30 lakh students in school, private schools, and about 30 lakhs, a little less in government schools.
Okay.
And year after year, the private schools get better results. But private schools teachers are less qualified than government school teachers. So you have to build this gap. So every government teacher is really much qualified, more intelligent, and he has been selected. Only those who have not been selected, those who have not been selected are going to private schools.
Yes.
So where is the problem?
Exactly.
Where is the problem?
Security.
No,
Job
security.
security.
So he's not doing his job.
That job security is the problem. There is no
Whatever you call it.
answerability is not is the problem. There is
Yes.
no answerability equation.
That is the problem. So
And there is no threat of loss of job.
Yeah. So as long as we don't make each teacher responsible for the output of his pupil or his class, and then which should be linked with his increments or something like what I said last time, like what you also said, Ananta Krishna Garu, there should be some we should not use the word punishment, something that will deter him.
Deterrent.
Yes, that will deter him for non-performance.
Yes,
That
it
is
has
the
to be
key
there.
point.
It has to be there. There is no question about it.
That is a key
But
point.
unfortunately, we don't have such deterrents to at various levels where we get people onto our heads and they ride for the rest of the life. Anyway, that's a different story. Equilateral thinking will address concerns of all stakeholders and చెప్పి Surendra garu చెప్పారు. That's a wonderful statement, sir. Because it is not a question, I'm reading your statement as it is. Thank you. I think
Unkokati, this point also I like it. Student community has to be very demanding in terms of their intellectual requirements. Yes, you are the customer and consumer.
No,
You
no.
are the customer.
For the first thing, the student should understand what. See, it is like this. If I am going into a dark room, even if there is gold or diamond, I am useless to it. It is useless to me because I'm not able to see it. So first of all, the student perception levels have to go up. The thought process should go up. The demand, if they can demand, only when they know that they need it. So the need has to be felt. There should be a fire at the bottom, which is not there today.
In fact, here
No.
the point is, sir.
Prithvi, just to connect that point and what I said a little earlier.
Yes.
See, 85% of the graduates are not employable on last time you told.
Yes.
Why? Because they have no skill, no this thing, that thing. The first, and they have all come from private government schools.
Government schools, right.
So the most important thing that should be given most importance is their ability to communicate, either in Telugu or in Hindi or in English. They are unable to communicate in front of the interview panel. They know some children are intelligent, they can't communicate. So why they can't communicate? Because the teachers can't communicate. And why teachers are not communicate? They are not trained. So training is important, like you said.
I'll tell you, sir, now in my childhood, when I was going to the school, every month there used to be a session called debating and for and against in our school when I'm studying my 4th class, mind you, where we started expressing and the teachers used to correct our language, our presentation style, our takeoff and landing portions, how we are on the blow. So many things were considered. They are missing absolutely today.
Absolutely missing. Why? Because my own late father was a teacher. Teachers at that time certainly were better a lot.
Of course.
Or maybe better committed.
Yes.
That is more important. So anyway, we have another. Actually, we crossed 10 minutes. So let us, having crossed 10 minutes, let us make it peg it at 15 minutes. So therefore, another 5 minutes. I think Prithvi, you should be in a position to wind it up.
Yeah, sir. Actually, here what the students the issue is that even if they clear out whatever the certification, even the gold medalist from a university is not getting a job. So in fact, that's the area where actually these people wanted to have that. There need to be a demand from them for the right content, right teaching, right skill imparting. So many things they have to demand, and obvious In fact, there were dharnas also last time I have seen in couple of the universities where they have not taken the classes, but they have started conducting the exams. So such sort of areas, actually, it's going to, yes, student, when he is investing his time, money, obvious, he should expect, and he should have a fire in the belly, and he should question the system after doing best in whatever it's been asked. Still, if he's not able to get the output, yes, he can ask the concerned institutions and the concerned system. I'm with the students on this point.
Everybody
I think
shall
these
have
are
to
the
be with the
questions.
students. Everybody shall have to be with the students, and you call by any name, any stakeholder, name him the VC, name him the teacher, name him lecturer, name him the planning material. Ultimately, the focal point is only student. He is the future of the country. His interest has to be taken care of, and our intellectual will is not the only criteria. So the political will shall have to align with the intellectual will. Then alone we will have a consolidated equation to protect the country, not individual, not for whims and fancies of somebody. The push and pull by many people have to be controlled is one of the important parameters that has emerged from this particular meeting. And yes, one thing is certain now, having put so much of thought process by so many intellectuals, the document called NEP 2020 or JOJO should not become a JOJO, but it should become 2020. That is one thing. Second thing, it is now foolproof in the sense it has metal in it. The question is how it is made into an ornament. It may be gold, but unless it is converted into an ornament, utility is not there. We can't eat a gold biscuit, right? Though it's called biscuit, we can't eat it. Now I'll tell you one example. I'll just give you a classic example. There is one department, a government department, a central government department, I don't want to name it. In that department, a test would be conducted for promoting to a particular category. And obviously, once the test is there, there will be failures, right? If the seats are not filled up, there is a category called best among the failures. And that failure candidate might have got 0, 1, 2, as against 50 or 60. But because he got 2, he is the best among the failures, he would be elevated to that position. Is this right? Is it valid? It is there. It is implemented. Political will. Political will.
Ananthakrishna garu, very nice. మీరు పొలిటికల్ విల్ అనేది ఒక 10 to 12 times వాడారు.
More than that.
Very valid point. But now, how do you make it happen? That you
once I am able to establish this into the minds of great people like you, the thought process would always work out.
You have to concentrate on that. Yes,
I am going to do that. I am going to do that. So nice. So with all these small words from my side and the rich experience from all panelists here and also the other members who joined the group, I would now put it in the what you call gallery view. I request all the members to switch on their videos so that their faces can be seen in the screen and it will be on record. I request only Mr. Vishwakiran, Kannaya, Ponna, Tulasi, Jairam, Dr. Anis Sultana, Sunanda, Amanumula, Sri Lata, Alta, Santosh, Hemalata, Vinuta, Kandula, all my friends may kindly switch on your videos so that everybody will be able to see. Vishwakiran Garu, so nice of you to have on the panel. We had a wonderful experience with you the last time. Prava Jagannath Gar Peru was referred, and I think next time he cannot be left without sharing his wisdom. Anyway, we'll have another plan. For the next 3 weeks, we have planned in a different model in Telugu only. For the reason is, I have communication saying that if everything is in English, we are not able to follow. So, probably the whole thing would go ahead with Telugu as the basis for the next 3 or 4 sessions. Then in the meantime, my learned friends would have also sufficient time to work out on the other parameters more in detail or pointedly. We'll have another meeting, sir. Thank you very much for joining. Ramurthy garu, మీరు ఏమైనా chat చేస్తారా ఒక మాట?
ఏం లేదు sir. You just go ahead.
Thank you. I should purposely thank Ramurthy garu, who is everything for me. He is my backbone, front bone, heart, soul, everything. And Prudvi garu for making such a wonderful panel. See,
Thank you.
having thought is one aspect, implementation is the second and biggest aspect. And he has chosen the cream of the people who are into it on the ground level, not at the book level. So my only scheme is, it is not a policy to be written on board, but it has a policy to be working on a road. This is what my slogan was on the day one. And I hold to that slogan. It is not necessary to be on the board, but it should be applicable on the road.
The road.
On the road.
Yes, road with the map and compass.
Everything. We'll work out on that. We are going to do wonders, sir. Thank you very much. And we'll
you.
close the session for the day.
We thank
you,
all,
sir.
for
All the members present.
participants by name.
Thank you by name. Kindly
By name.
accept our personal acknowledgements for that.